And welcome to ABC 24 This Week. I'm Brad Broders, filling in today for Richard Ransom. I'm joined by ABC 24 political analyst Otis Sanford. We're here every Sunday at 9 a.m. and 10:35 p.m. to bring you the real story behind the big stories. Otis, we begin with public safety and a major development this week to better recruit and retain Memphis police officers, firefighters, and dispatchers in this community, Otis.
Yes, Brad. You know, Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland announced this week a plan to restore pension benefits to recently hired. The same benefits he and other city council members voted to cut 8 years ago.
Yeah, Otis, we'll take a deeper dive on that as Memphis police continue their push to get to a target goal of 2,500 police officers in the coming years. Also, more than 5 weeks from Election Day, new ads are hitting the airwaves in the Tennessee's governor's race. We'll break down the state of the contest. And the University of Memphis basketball program gets a lighter than expected punishment from investigators. What's next for Coach Hardaway and the Tigers? Now, I want to introduce you to our panel today. We have former Memphis City School Board and Council member Tawan Stout Mitchell and former Shelby County GOP Chair Chris Tudor. Thanks both for joining. Now let's get to it. Wednesday, Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland announced a plan to restore the first responder pension plan established in 1978 that was cut several years ago in a cost-saving move. If implemented, nearly 1,000 first responders who would be eligible to choose either the 1978 or 2016 benefit plan. Now, those eligible would be firefighters or police officers hired after July 1st, 2016, or those hired in the future. The plan would take effect next July if approved by the Memphis City Council. It's worth noting Mayor Strickland actually voted to change the pension plan while serving on the City Council back in 2014. Now, Mayor Strickland said the city can offer first responders this benefit because the money generated from a 2018 voter-approved public safety referendum. Otis, we'll start with you. Mayor Strickland told reporters this week he didn't want to relitigate that 2014 benefit cut vote. What do you make of this latest development, Otis?
Well, he doesn't want to relitigate it because obviously he voted against it and he doesn't want people to be reminded of that. Yeah. But I think all of this, Brad, is an effort to do what Jim Strickland has been trying to do for quite a while now, is to keep from hemorrhaging police and public safety personnel. The police department's force is down quite a bit. He wants to get it to at least 2,100 officers before he goes out of office. The overall goal is to get it to 2,500. And he thinks that doing this, if they have the money to do it, will help keep the department from actually going even lower, and hopefully will increase the members of the police force. So that's what he's trying to do here.
And Tawan, we spoke earlier this week about this. What do you make of this announcement by Mayor Strickland earlier this week?
Well, number one, I think it was an announcement he had to make, and I'm sure he doesn't want to relitigate it. But the truth is, many of us told them so, that 2014, if this is a game changer, they shouldn't have changed the game in 2014 that impacted all of these employees. And we've had shrinkage in every department of city government since then. I really think that the police and fire are deserving of that restoring of those benefits. And the people, through their votes, mandated this. Mm-hmm. And I think they would have mandated it for the support staff as well. Anybody who was impacted by that in the 2014 and that was employed before 2014 should have their benefits restored. However, you can change the rules, but only for your new employees. So I'm glad to see them moving in this direction. But the truth is, the people spoke, and the people were led by fire and police, who took this to a referendum and asked us for our votes for the sales tax increase, which isn't a regressive tax, but it is a step in the right direction.
And Chris, what impact do you believe this will have on Memphis being able to better recruit and add to its police and firefighter ranks?
I think we need to do whatever it takes to get to those numbers, first 2,100, then 2,500. That's the first priority of any government, and it should be the first priority of the city of Memphis to restore that number to what it needs to be to provide for public safety. So whatever we need to do, including boosting these pension benefits, I think is necessary. I think the second point, which is not as important, but it is still important. The reason why they made the change, if I recall, in 2014, is that the state was breathing down our necks. We had a real problem with the budget. So we need to make sure that we don't get into that territory again. But I think this is an excellent step. Like I said, we need to do everything we possibly can to recruit police and fire to Memphis.
And Otis, the mayor's talked about this generating a surplus and a lot of funds, even a surplus. So what do you make of kind of just the money generated from this referendum and being able to do this?
Well, Tawan is right on the money here. I mean, you know, generally voters don't vote themselves a tax. They did it in this case because the public safety personnel made a compelling case here to do so. And Tawan can correct me if I'm wrong. But when this was cut back in 2014, it was very unpopular among the police and firefighters, and it might have cost A.C. Warden the election in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, because it was so unpopular. And there were some people who had been supporters of his in the previous elections, I think turned against him there. So I think, again, if the money is there, let's do it. I agree with Chris. Let's do everything we can to get to that 2,100 number. I think 2,500, it might be too wishful thinking here, but to get to that 2,500 number is a good thing, I believe.
Go ahead, Tawan.
Brad.
Go ahead, Tawan.
Let me say this too. And although I value what police and fire deliver and services to us, I also value the sewer worker in public works. I value the parks and recreations and community center workers and the librarians who stayed during the pandemic and kept the libraries open here in Memphis, although they were closed all around the country, so families could go to work and bring their children to a safe environment. The people who were impacted by that 2014 decision, they need to be restored as well.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, and one more topic of note this week, the Memphis City Council also pushing a resolution to better enforce the youth curfew ordinance. I know there's a lot of talk about police officers concerned about not being able to tend to other calls because they're waiting for a parent to pick up. There's talk about some kind of center to hold some of these youth in violation. Otis, what do you make of the council kind of pushing this forward and having a little more teeth in enforcement?
Well, I mean, I think the council is just sort of almost grasping for straws here a little bit, trying to do everything they can to cut down on juvenile violence. You know, this curfew law goes all the way back to 1995, as I recall, when they asked the state legislature to pass this law, and then they did a local version of it. I think this will put a lot of burden on the police to try to enforce this. It would be great if parents made sure that their kids were at home. We know we have a lot of parents who don't do that, but I think the council is just trying to do everything it can to try to figure out a way to reduce the juvenile violence and juvenile crime that's going on in our community.
And Chris, a lot of topics from the Memphis City Council this week regarding crime, regarding criminal justice issues. What do you make of the focus of the City Council, especially with two high-profile crimes happening earlier this month, with this focus on the Memphis City Council?
It has to be the number one focus. As I said earlier, the first and foremost responsibility of any political entity, any government, is ensuring order and the safety of the citizens. So we need to do whatever we possibly can at every single level, local, state, and federal, to tackle this crime problem. For obvious reasons. So I'm proud that they're looking into it. I hope that we keep a laser focus on it, and we need to spend as much money and as many resources as possible to get this under control.
All right, a robust discussion to start the show already. We'll leave that topic there, but coming up, a lot more to get to. The candidates vying to be the Tennessee's next governor the next 4 years, with different ads out with different themes. We'll discuss that after the break.